Sequence initialized. 2, 0. Rampage mode activated.
Okay, hey guys. In this video I'm going to document my journey in restoring this early 1980s Sanyo stereo Walkman, or also known as a portable cassette player. Alright. So currently I have replaced the belts within it. And before I proceed, there's a few things I would like to say. At first, when I got this Walkman, it wasn't working at all. I placed the batteries in them, and the motor did not turn. Obviously, the belts were worn out. They could not grip anything anymore. But I just want to know whether the motor turns or not, and it didn't. So what I did was I took it apart and re-soldered all the wires according to a diagram or pictogram that I found online. I will post the link to that article in the description below. So that's it for the introduction. So when I play cassettes on this Walkman, it sounds really bad. There is sound, it does play. Okay. Mechanism is all good. So let me demonstrate. Okay, here I have a cassette, some earphones hooked up. Alright, let's play it and see what happens. See, you can see the tape is turning. Currently there is no audio. I just have to keep trying until I get some audio. Okay, I managed to get some audio. I don't know if you can hear it. Put it close to the microphone. Okay, so that is my problem. So what I suspect is could be three things that I suspect that it could be. Firstly, it could be bad capacitors. So earlier I went out and got the capacitors I needed. Okay, so all Japanese caps. And secondly, it could be the pre-amplifier chips. It's not a dead end if it is that. I managed to find some on eBay, but just to be sure, I'm going to change the caps first because it's easier and cheaper to get a hold of. And lastly, I suspect it might be the volume adjusters here and the speaker balance. It might be that. Oh yeah, and this Walkman does have a talk function. So probably if I get this Walkman working, I'll do a proper review of it, like a product review. Although it's over 30 years old. I'm not sure when this Walkman was made, but I'm pretty sure it was in the early 80s because of its bulk, because it's quite large. Yeah, it's almost the same size as my hand. So I'll go on to replace the caps and see what happens. Okay, now that we're inside, I can illustrate more on how I got the motor running again. this was here. I removed it just so that I can easier explain to you. Okay, there are two switches. Okay, first with this which is connected to this orange and red wire. Okay, and here with this blue and red. So when you hit play, these two switches down here will engage. I'll open it up and I'll show it to you again. Okay. First thing I would like to note is when I got the Walkman, when I hit play and I hit stop, it wouldn't stop. I mean, it would stop, but it would go straight to eject. That means opening the cassette well right away without just stopping the cassette. So I suspect there was somebody before me who attempted to repair that and couldn't. And when they put it back together, they didn't put it back properly. So here is the connection for the electric motor and for the battery, and then for the cassette head, the microphone, the power LED, and the switch. So when you press the play button, these switches up and down here need to be engaged simultaneously so that the cassette will turn. What I suspect was, allow me to remove the circuit board. To remove the circuit board, you have to desolder the battery connections, the lower switch, and the upper switch is not so necessary, and all the wires up here are not so necessary to remove because we can just fold it open. So I'll do that and I'll get back to you. Just before I forget, I use this pictogram as a guide to help me see whether the wires were placed correctly. This is on a website. I will post the link below. It's on petervis.com or petervis, I'm not sure. So I'll post all the links below, and if you are wondering what capacitors did I get for my Walkman, I'll list all the parts below on what you need to get. And also some of the caps are considered upgrades. I'm upgrading the I'm putting higher voltage caps than needed. One, because I couldn't find the correct voltage needed, but just since I'm doing it, there's no difference. Might as well just upgrade it in a way. I think I don't think it make much of a difference using higher voltage caps are needed, but if I'm not mistaken, it will last longer than what it's great. Before I forget, besides removing, desoldering the wires down here and connections down here, there's also one more connection here that you have to desolder. Yes, the up one is not, to me it's not necessary because you can just fold it. So mainly these two bottom connections here. Sorry, I have to apologize once again. You have to remove the motor connections as well so that you can flip the motherboard. Yeah. Okay, once you remove all the desolder all the connections you need to desolder, then if you want to flip the motherboard, you can see there is a switch. Oops. You can see there is a switch over here. Here that you have to remove. It's this one. So you just remove the screw. And it comes right out, and then you can proceed to flipping the motherboard. Okay, here we can see the caps and everything. Okay, so I really don't know how I got the motor working, generally speaking, but I know what I did was that I re-soldered all the connections, all the wire connections, especially check for the switches. Okay. So okay, just as some extra info. Okay. If you have the same Walkman and even though once you press play and then you hit stop, it straight away opens the cassette well. I found out how to fix that. This is the problem. Okay. See this metal piece back here. Okay. This one. This thing right here. Alright. This must be behind this pole right here, or metal tube as you might call it. So when I opened it, this metal piece here was in front of this pole, in front of this metal tube here. So that's why once I hit stop, it straight away turns on. Opens the cassette well. As you can see here, when I hit the stop button, the eject button, it pushes down on this mechanism right here. So but when you press play, okay, see, it does not push down on the mechanism. See, it doesn't go all the way, so it does not open the well unless the play button is disengaged. So that is how I fix that. And probably it could be related to the switches. Okay, one switch was here, and here's the second one down here. So even though I press play up here, not only does this switch here engage, this one as well, as you can see. So probably this mechanism was the problem. It was not properly reinstalled. That's why Walkman couldn't work. That could be one of the causes. And then the Walkman works, it plays, it just sounds really bad. Okay, so I will proceed now to replace all the electrolytic capacitors on the board. Probably they leaked over time, so that's why probably it sounded bad. Okay, okay, and let me explain a little bit more. Okay, these two ICs here are the amplifier chips for the audio output for the headphones or earphones. Okay, so this could be bad as well, but I can find it. I found it on eBay, so I'm not sure whether to buy it or not yet. So I'm just going to try to replace the caps first. And down here there is another IC. This IC is, if not mistaken, it's for the top function that connects to the microphone right here. I did manage to get to the microphone right here. At one point I did manage to get the top function working. It sounded pretty good. The microphone is quite good actually. I'm quite impressed. If not, it might be, to me it's kind of unlikely to be the possibility, but this volume adjuster here, or potentiometer, might be damaged, corroded, I'm not sure, but that is just a possibility. But what I think is the main problem is these caps, especially it being 30 years old. So yeah, I'll proceed to change them. If you guys wish to find a tutorial how to replace caps, there are many online. But what I can share is that how do you choose your caps? That is something I would like to share. Okay, so when choosing your caps, you want to first look at the microfarads. That's the symbol there, 1 This is an example here. This is the 1800 microfarad capacitor. Okay, that's 16 volts. Say if you need 1000, your motherboard needs 1800 microfarads at 16 volts, but you can't find it. But what you can do to replace it is, if you find a capacitor with the same microfarad rating but a higher voltage rating, never below, same or higher. For me, I like to go higher whenever I can, but there are times where I can't do that because for some capacitors, when you go higher voltage, the size of the capacitors increase as well, and sometimes I can't fit it in my motherboard or the device that I wish to replace the caps in, so I have to get the exact same capacitor or to get the same size. So yeah, so that's a little tip from me for choosing and selecting your capacitors. If you don't know, if you're new to this and getting into retro Walkmans like I am, I'm just 20 years old. I was born during the time where cassettes were dying. So cassettes really, I watched a lot of videos on cassettes and they really got me interested in it. So I tried it. I have another working Walkman which I will make another video about. It sounds pretty good. That is what impressed me. So that's why I'm really into cassettes now. Okay, yeah, let's get on with the video. Hey guys, it's been a while. The last I worked on this Walkman was in October last year, and now it's the 29th of March. I had to wait for the ICs to be shipped. Yeah, I bought all the ICs for the audio output and as well as for the microphone. They're right here. I already put in the new ones. Okay, so that was the problem as well. And after I got the sound working again, I couldn't install back the main board because some of the capacitors I chose were too large. Like for example, this is one of them. This is one capacitor here. It's a 220 microfarad capacitor at 16 volts. The original ones were 10 volts, so they couldn't really fit properly. So I went and ordered new caps that followed the old specifications, 220 microfarads at 10 volts, and I got these. Okay, so I reinstalled the caps and everything fits. It works magnificently now. It spins. You can see the cassette there is spinning, and as well as the operation light is working. Very retro. Yeah, so everything works. That's what I had to do. I replaced all the caps and I replaced the ICs. Okay, I'll provide all the links in the description to even the belts. Put in new belts, new caps, new ICs, and everything works now. Now I can demonstrate it to you. Alright, the cassette is playing. As you can hear, it sounds much better now. Even the talk function works. Let me just turn it on. See, once the talk function is turned on, the volume dips softly in the background, and you can hear Let me just touch the microphone. I think you can hear that. Yeah, it has a very powerful microphone. Hello. Alright, once I turn the talk function off, the volume gets, you can hear the music again properly. So that's quite cool actually with the early generation Walkmans. I found out how old it was. Apparently, according to a website, it was released in 1981. So that makes it approximately 36 years old. Well, I'm happy to get it working again. Right, and I'll probably do a proper review of its features and a video about it soon after I upload this. So, okay, thanks for watching.
Rampage mode activated.